Just a few hours ago, it was reported that Prince Harry may be set to regain his armed security when he enters the United Kingdom. This has not been confirmed. However, there are a lot of murmurs from government and from other media outlets that this is possible. I want to be very clear because I've already seen several headlines go up saying Prince Harry has his security. At the time of recording this video, maybe even hopefully by the time this is published, this will be in fact the case. But at the time, it is speculation. So I want to be very clear that we're talking about something that has yet to be confirmed from anyone close to the situation. So let's discuss it in the correct context at this time. And hopefully I will be able to return with an update that this has all been confirmed. Thank you for clicking on my video, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today, I wanted to talk about these very early reports that Prince Harry may be set to regain his armed security in the UK. This is an issue that I have cared quite deeply about, as I see it as he is entitled to his security. Y'all have heard my many reasons why, so I won't rehash, but I will say I am keeping my thumb on the pulse of this, and at the time of recording this video, it is not set in stone as of yet. However, things are looking very hopeful. And so I want to talk about it. Today, I'll be reading an article from People magazine and giving my opinion at the end. But before I do, if you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to share so that more people can find us. Once again, this article is coming from People magazine, written by Simon Perry, and it's titled, Prince Harry Set to Regain Armed Security in the UK, Opening Door for Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet to Visit King Charles. Insider says signs are looking positive that the UK government will reinstate the Duke of Sussex's security. Before I continue, I haven't read this full article. I've read a few others, but I haven't read this full article. And I want to point out that starting with Insider says, listen, it could be someone who really is on the inside who just wants to be anonymous, but I always want to remind everyone watching this, for most of you, I'm preaching to the choir, but for some of you who may be new, Harry and Meghan do not speak through insiders and sources and friends. They have made it very clear that they will speak to us directly or through a confirmed spokesperson. So I'm going to prepare you in the same way I'm preparing myself. Take this with a grain of salt, and we'll see what we have by the end of the article. Prince Harry's fight to have his official armed full-time security reinstated when he visits the UK appears to have taken a step forward. I also want to point out the language here, appears. There is nothing confirmed yet. Insiders tell People there are positive noises coming from the government regarding a reversal of the decision not to grant Harry security, and they are cautiously hopeful that the decision to upgrade his cover will go ahead. It follows a report that an official review has found that Prince Harry meets the criteria for inclusion in the taxpayer-funded security cover. I could have saved them a lot of time and just told them, well, he was born a royal. Next. Goodness. After several years of the Duke of Sussex's campaigning, including a high-profile court battle, a full-scale review was granted in December. That meant an official risk assessment was carried out by the body that draws up the roster for who gets security, the Royal and VIP Executive Committee, RAVEC. RAVEC is made up of members of the government's Home Office, the Metropolitan Police, and the royal household. On January 4th, the Mail on Sunday reported that the committee had found that the criteria for the top-level security measures had been met. I also want to pause here. Several members of Prince Harry's former security detail, as well as several Metropolitan Police officers and investigators, like several people who are in the know in this very aspect or in this very situation, have said several times that he is not only meeting the criteria, but he's one of the most high-risk individuals that need protection. Point blank, period, and no objection there. Like they have all many of them have come out and said he needs security damn near more than anybody else, him and Meghan. Not only that, but they have faced direct threats in many different forms, whether that's through mail, people trying to gain access to their homes, people following them around, people outright saying on international and national programs saying that they wanted to harm them and their children. Like, no matter how you slice it and no matter what you review, you will find that they are both high-risk individuals because people are very hateful. And we're not even going to get into the whole media campaign. Also, how much of that campaign was run by members of Prince Harry's own family. We've talked about all of that ad nauseum. No matter how you slice it, he should have had security for the simple fact that he was born a royal. And Meghan should have had security for the simple fact that she is a royal. There's no other way to look at it. So for all of the pomp and circumstance and the song and dance, they're just simply doing that to delay it, in my opinion. And they're trying to find a reasonable way to walk back a horrendous decision, because they weren't expecting Prince Harry to stand on business and say, great, well, I'm not bringing my kids. I'm not bringing my wife. They weren't expecting that. I don't think they expected Prince Harry to stand up for himself, and to this extent. I do think at some point they assumed he would wane or compromise or give in or allow them to force his hand and say, well, we should go back and be part of blah, blah, blah. I think they really expected him to roll over. One will say, I'm quite proud of him for digging his heels in for what's right. Not surprised, but still proud. This is just who he is. But also, isn't it funny when you watch them eat crow and then they have to try to go around the issue and back again to try not to have any accountability, to make it seem like, oh, well, now that we have reviewed, now we do see there was an issue. There was always issues. He's always been a high-risk individual. It has never been a question about that. It's always been clear. Y'all were wrong from the outset, and you're wrong now for even making him wait for this. Anyway, let's continue. There is now a belief that barring a last-minute intervention from opponents, the Duke will be granted the armed guards and institutional backup he used to get when he was a working royal. I also want to make it very clear. Prince Harry doesn't have to work to be secured, because his individual safety should be granted, or should be secured, as well as his family's. I don't think he should have to be seen as a working royal. Hell, he's put in more work than all the rest of them already at this point. If he never worked again in any capacity, whether that be for his own foundation, for his organizations, for his affiliates, for any of his patronages, for the royal family, etc., if he never lifted another finger, he's already done more than all of them combined. So, with the exception of Princess Anne, y'all know she gets down. But as far as the rest of them, they can't hold a candle to him. So as far as the working royal thing, they're always trying to find a caveat to treat him differently, because they're still trying to punish him. And at the very least, they're not necessarily trying to punish him now. They're trying to walk back the punishment that they went full throttle on, because they're racist. And again, they expected him to acquiesce. Isn't it fun to watch them have to walk this back? The only issue I have with it is that it's taking this long. But to be fair, this never should have been the case to begin with. He never should have lost his security. They never should have taken a gamble with his or his wife or his children's safety. That should have never even been a consideration. It should have never been on the chopping block to begin with. And whoever made the first suggestion to pull the security should have been looked at like they were crazy. Because you are absolutely crazy to pull someone's security, especially when they have fought for your freedom to sit in whatever room you sat in, to recommend that this man lose his security. He fought for that. 2 tours. So anyway, this is why I try to stay to friendlier topics, because we might be here all day, because they done got me hot again. Anyway, we're on the other side. It looks like they're trying to walk it back, but they're taking too long. Pick up the pace. Harry has repeatedly said that without such security cover, he is unable to bring his wife, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, and their 2 children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet Diana, to the country of his birth, insisting he doesn't feel safe doing so. Okay, sure, insisting, I guess I can see why you use that, but I mean, I think it's pretty clear he isn't safe doing so. Like, how can you in one sentence say that it's looking like he did meet the criteria to receive armed security and backup, which he does, and that's never not been the case. But anyway, how can you say that he meets the criteria and then say he insists that it's unsafe for his kids to be there? So do you doubt him, or are you confirming that he's been right the whole time? Because it seems like you're trying to straddle the fence, and this is why I genuinely loathe reading Simon Perry articles. It's just, this one was so concise and it had less nonsense in it. But this is one of the reasons why I dislike reading Simon Perry articles. But let's continue. This reversal could pave the way for Prince Harry to bring his children, who are being raised in California, to the UK to be reunited with his father, King Charles. I mean, Charles could have made that happen a long time ago. It emerged on October 6th that a female stalker came within feet of Prince Harry on a couple of occasions when he was on a charity visit to the UK in September of 2025. Prince Harry lost his full security cover when he and Meghan stepped back from frontline royal duties in 2020. In May of 2025, he lost an appeal over the issue. It emerged during that case that he and Meghan and the family had not had an assessment since 2019. But in October of 2025, Prince Harry made another approach, making a personal appeal to the British government minister in charge of policing and crime prevention in Britain, the Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood. in an interview in May, following the failure of his appeal, Prince Harry implied to the BBC that he believed his father, King Charles, could influence the decision despite the fact that the palace has consistently denied that the king has the power to have that security reinstated. We spoke about that at that time. Then in December, the full-scale review of the Duke of Sussex's security by the official body that assesses how royals and VIPs are guarded commenced. Thank you so much for watching the SharionSade YouTube channel. I appreciate you watching my content. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video by hitting the thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. And don't forget to comment along the way. If you feel so inclined, please don't forget to share so that more people can find us. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Now let's get back to the video. I will continue to keep my ear to the ground for confirmation to see which way the pendulum swings on this. I hope that they absolutely reinstate his security. It should have never been stripped to begin with. And I find that his fight to regain security and to eventually be able to share his home country with his children and continue to share it with his wife, I find that to be extremely noble. He, in my opinion, he represents the crown regardless if he's a working royal or not, because he is a born royal. He is Prince Harry. Prince is his name. Prince Harry is his actual name. And I always find it to be so interesting when people like myself who are not royal, I'm not on the inside, I'm actually not even British, I'm American. Like when people just get so, they dig their heels in and they just get so angry and they get so passionate. He should be working for the crown if he wants security and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, well, several things can be true at once. They will consistently tell us that he was born a royal, which he was, and he was born to be a royal, and he's been trained up since the time he was a child to work on behalf of the crown. And he is he owes the crown and everybody in the UK this dutiful mindset to accept whatever is done to him, to accept whatever is asked of him, to take on whatever task is put in front of him, because he was born a royal and that is his job, while also not acknowledging that he doesn't have a choice in the matter of what is put in front of him, what is required of him, and what is asked of him, but also the risks involved with being him. You will tell us that he owes the crown his labor and his loyalty and the right to abuse him. You will tell us that with your whole chest, but then you won't pause and say, he owes it because he was born into it. So do they not owe him security? Because again, he was born into it. And if you are equating his security, something he should have because he has no control over his image, over who, well, not now he does, but I'm saying at the time, he has no control over what these people say about him, how these people represent him. They have been lying on him for well over a decade. Well, hell, they've been lying on him his whole life. I mean, if you read Spare, you know, they have just basically been using him as a deflection point and not caring how that impacts him in any way, shape, or form. These people, grown ass people, been lying on him since the time he was a kid, making up whole stories, accusing the man of being strung out and all kinds of crazy stuff. They have been having at it when it comes to Harry. And he has been asked to be quiet. He has played their game. He has gone along to get along. He did what he thought was the right thing to do. And when he became enlightened, he decided to make a change. But you love saying that he deserves or he is owed all of the downsides of being a royal while not acknowledging that he had no choice in the matter to be born a royal or to even be a royal. He has been put on front pages, in media coverage. He's been documented walking into church every year since he was born. Nothing about his life was private. Does that in and of itself, not any of the work, not any of the other stuff, but just the fact that he has been stripped and denied basic privacy and basic human decency, does that not also entitle him security? You made him a risk. Now secure his safety. He shouldn't have to work a day in his life to be entitled to that, because again, he was born into it. As you love putting in front of us, well, he was born into it. He should blah, blah, blah. He shouldn't blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, he was born into it. You should secure him whether he decides to be a working royal or not. He has no anonymity, and that is their fault. So they have to deal with the consequences of that. Now, he has managed to handle all of this with incredible dignity, as is his wife. And I think it's beautiful that they have gone through whatever processes they feel necessary to rectify wrongs they didn't create. As always, they are just dignified people and they believe doing things the right way, going about things the right way. But I have to say, from the outside looking in, the more dignified, the more respectful, the more loyal, the more process oriented he is, the less he avoids crashing out on y'all and really just giving it to you like you deserve, the more it makes y'all look like assholes. Or should I say, it makes you all look like the assholes that you are for stripping his security to begin with, for trying to punish him for protecting his wife and his family to begin with. The fact that that is even brought up as an oppositional point when speaking of Harry is crazy to me. Because is that not a noble trait for a man to protect his family? Is that not a noble trait for a man to say, listen, you could give me the world on a platter. If it meant sacrificing my family, I'm not having it. But then when you drill down and you find out they weren't offering you the world on the platter, they were offering you forever being treated like Dobby out of Harry Potter. You're forever being treated like Schmeagol. And you have to be treated that way because you were born into it. But no, we won't secure you automatically. That has to be fought for. But none of the downsides of being a royal have to be fought for. Those you're entitled to, but none of the very few and very rare upsides, which is just simply protecting me from the risk you created. One thing I will say too, is we've spoken about this on Patreon. It's very disappointing that so much of the work that Prince Harry and Meghan both have put in, and so much of the things that they've been tasked with in relation to like these legal matters, these are things they did not cause, nor could they themselves avoid. These were other people's doings that they have to fix. They have to spend their time and their money and their resources fixing things that other people put upon them. And that bothers me. That in and of itself bothers me. So while at this time, Prince Harry hasn't regained his security, when he does, I'm going to try to speak that into existence. When he does, I'm still not necessarily going to jump for joy because he should have never lost it. I'm going to say, good. I'm glad they in some way try to right a wrong. Good for them. And I'm always glad that he's just a little bit more safe. Great. That's wonderful. But you're not going to get any praise from me for fixing a problem you created. You're just not. Absolutely not. Also, I hope it's a new year for us. It's a new year. We have a new opportunity to do things right. I'm aware that you can start new things at any time. You don't have to wait for the new year. Okay, great. But it's very common for people to start new things and new habits and new chapters at the new year. And I just want to say, if anyone happens to come across me or my Raggedy channel or my Raggedy commentary who happens to be in some of these rooms where these decisions are made, I just hope you hear me say a loud and resounding shame on you. But it's a new year and you have an opportunity to change the way you do things. Not only change your legacy for whoever that may matter to, your family, your lineage, etc., but also for yourself. You don't have to continue down a path just because you've already made a few steps in that direction. You can always turn around. You can always do what's right. You can always say, you know what? I was wrong. Let's fix this. You can always say, you know what? On second thought, or come to think of it, or now that I've given it time, you can always say, we weren't right in the beginning. Let's fix this now. And let's give them a little something for his trouble. You can. Will they? No. These types of people don't have souls. But humor me. If someone happens to come across this channel who has access to someone who has access to those rooms, I hope you know it is always okay to do the right thing, even after you've done the wrong thing. Let this be the year that you decide to do the right thing. And if you realize you didn't do the right thing, let this be the year you admit that to yourself, build that bond with yourself and build up that trust and say, you know what, but we can fix it. It's always okay to fix it. So anyway, I wish nothing but the very best for the Sussexes. They are continuously changing the dynamic of their family lineage for the better. And with each and every struggle, we just get to see how great they really are. Good for them. I will continue to support them in all of their endeavors, and I will continue to shame the people who try to bring harm upon them or their name. I find it to be quite rewarding to shame those people. Anyway, but those are my thoughts. I'm interested in hearing what you have to say. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to share so that more people can find us. Members, you got a new video. Patreon members, you are getting 2 new videos this week as well. And everybody, on Friday, we are having a live stream, the first live stream of 2026. I'm excited. So bring snacks because y'all know we get to talking and we kind of stick around for some time. Get some snacks. Bring your topics that you want to discuss. We are going to have an open topic time or segment at the end. We will still do our pre-recorded segments so that we stay on track, but at the end we will just shoot the shit. So I look forward to chatting with y'all and catching up. It's been a while, but if you haven't already, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Don't forget to not sign up, but set a reminder for Friday's live stream so that you can join us. And if you want to share, great. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.